A second suspect has been arrested for allegedly trying to rob 3 DA MPs in Philippi outside Cape Town yesterday. Ian Cameron, who's ironically the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, as well as Shickerling and Nicholas Gotsell, were returning from conducting an oversight inspection at a police training college in Philippi when the incident happened. Gotshell and Cameron, we're told, have been injured. For more on this, let's speak to the City of Cape Town's MMC for Safety and Security, and JP Smith, who joins us now via our video link. It's lovely to have you on the program, JP. Thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. Perhaps we can just begin with what you know to have happened yesterday.
Morning. You described the circumstances that led up to the incident, which involved them doing the policing oversight visits that particularly Ian and Nicholas are conducting quite continuously. We meet with them regularly. So they brief us on these matters, and yesterday when they did one of these oversight visits, when they passed a particular point, they were in the road, they were assailed by multiple men, 2 on the passenger side, 1 on the driver's side, who then threw bricks through the windows, injuring both Nicholas and Ian. And it does appear that Ian managed to get a shot off in self-defense. He used his firearm and injured one of the suspects, and that suspect, the assailants then fled, and that suspect was subsequently traced by the city's Safety and Security Investigations Unit and the South African Police after searching multiple hospitals to the Mitchells Plain Hospital, where he is currently under guard. And the vehicle license plate was identified from the CCTV cameras at the hospital, which led to the driver of the vehicle being found yesterday evening in Brown's Farm in Philippi and being taken into custody. And the debriefing of that person then led to a third suspect arrested at 4 o'clock this morning in possession of bloodied clothing that they used to attempt to stem the blood from the first suspect that is in hospital.
Sure. Sadly, we live in a country where, there's rampant criminality, including in places like Cape Town. Is there anything at this stage that suggests in any way that these MPs were attacked because they're parliamentarians or because of their work?
No, I think it's most likely that it is random. The number of bricks and the ferocity of the violence is a bit surprising. But at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that it was not other than an attempted robbery or perhaps an attempted hijacking. But if a hijacking, the car would likely not have been damaged to that extent. And I'm just glad that there's no serious injuries to any of the 3 MPs. They were busy doing the work that the taxpayers and the public expect them to do. I'm very grateful for our Safety and Security Investigations Unit and their swift action, and they work with SAPS. We work very well with the South African Police, and even the Provincial Commissioner was on site last night, and their swift action and follow-up has allowed for the detention of 3 of the persons involved in the attack. A 4th person is still afoot, and the search for that person continues. But
Sure.
That individual has been identified.
Philippi, the Cape Flats, quite notorious for violent crime, but is this kind of attack commonplace in places like Philippi?
We have numerous smash and grab hotspots that unfortunately plague passers-by. We have, as you know, deployed 1,300 extra law enforcement advancement program staff in these hotspots that have over time made successful impacts in the last quarters. I think we're about to see our 4th quarter in a row where crime stats and the murder rate and violent and assault stats are down. I see the most recent stats suggest another 10% plus decrease in murder, and similarly with the previous quarter and the one before that. So hopefully we are moving steadily in the right direction. These things don't come overnight, and the big crisis being the lack of under-resourcing of detectives. So these assailants are likely assailants who have done this repeatedly before. Had they been brought to justice on one of the previous attacks, they would not have been free to commit the one of yesterday, and that sadly is our challenge that we are, 35% detectives short in this province alone, and that your detectives sit with 250, 300 plus dockets. So very often the victims of crime and their families are denied justice because of this overload. And that's something we critically need to fix. And it is the reason why we are constantly calling for the devolution of power so that the city can assist with these investigative functions. As we showed last night and this morning when we were allowed to, we are able to contribute meaningfully and quickly to these results. And tomorrow the City Council will discuss a motion from the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee initiating intergovernmental relations and ultimately litigation to compel national government to devolve those investigative and crime intelligence powers to the city.
Yeah, your government has been calling for the devolution of powers for years now, and something tells me this is unlikely to take place, I don't know, tomorrow, next week, anytime soon. The question really becomes what happens in the interim. And, I shudder at the thought of what would have happened if this didn't happen to these parliamentarians and it was any other victim living in and around the city of Cape Town. What this moment has done, of course, is, at least to many people, really brought into sharp focus just how untenable the situation seems to have become in those communities.
We don't take action every day because of parliamentarians. We take action because vulnerable members in communities with persistently high crime are affected. Deploying 1,300 law enforcement officers in your worst crime-affected precincts, as indicated by the crime stats, is not for the benefit of parliamentarians. It's for the benefit of the people who then enjoy the reduced crime rates there. But sadly, you will not through visible policing, which is what the city can contribute at this stage. We're deploying another 750 officers on 10 September. We won't solve the problem with that alone. We will, as Shamila Batohi said in one of her first interviews, the failure of policing in South Africa is the failure to achieve convictions. And until we get the criminal justice system to yield results in catching and prosecuting and convicting these criminals, you will get limited results. So from the city side, we're pushing more and more resources into the absolutely most vulnerable communities, putting more technologies, cameras, gunfire detection, everything we can contribute to the equation into these spaces. But I'm afraid we have a serious problem with the state of the National Police Service and the under-resourcing they've been subjected to over a long time. That's not unique to Cape Town. That is across the country. Remember, Cape Town is now the fourth most violent city in South Africa, long not the first anymore. Our interventions are helping contribute to driving Cape Town down on that list and giving relief to our residents.
You really mentioned that you suspect that these criminals who were involved in this particular smash and grab weren't acting for the first time. Is there anything suggesting whether they were acting alone? I mean, 3 of them have been arrested so far. I wonder if you anticipate there might be any other arrests.
I'm hoping we will find the 4th suspect this morning still. There are numerous members of our SSIU working with SAPS on this, and hopefully that will also bring relief to others. There were 2 circumstances. The one was Ian Cameron discharging his firearm and injuring the one, which caused that person to be taken to hospital. And the second circumstance, the capturing of the CCTV on the CCTV cameras at the hospital of the vehicle registration. Those 2 circumstances have allowed now for some progress in this case. Had that not happened and had it just been the smash and grab, we were unlikely that we would have yielded these kind of outcomes, because likely the assailants also choose their spots far from local CCTV cameras on some of our primary roads. Over the last years, we've concentrated all of our camera installations on these most vulnerable roads based on SAPS's crime threat analysis. But they're also clever enough to choose spots where the drivers and the passengers are most vulnerable.
All right, JP Smith, thanks for speaking to us. It's a story we'll certainly keep watching as it continues to unfold. JP Smith is the MMC for Safety and Security in the city of Cape Town. Once again, thanks very much indeed. So there's that update for you. 3 suspects being arrested in connection with that smash and grab incident involving 3, in fact, targeting 3 DA MPs in Philippi along the Cape Flats. Yesterday, a 4th suspect, we're told, is still on the loose.